not our pop figures. And what about this?
Daily Show.
The Daily Show?
The Daily Show.
The Daily Show.
On Men's Radio.
Men's Radio.
Men's Radio.
Men's Radio.
With Russ Kane.
And that'll be me. Suddenly, it's back to the 80s, not half. Hi, everybody. I'm Russ Kane. This is The Daily Show on Men's Radio Station, part of the Soundmind Radio Group. More of that another time. You know him. You love him. The uncrowned king of stand-up in the new... Well, if you take the Tolworth Tower and put a mile radius, no one comes close. Ladies and gentlemen, Neil Long.
Hello. Good afternoon. How are you?
Meeting's not off. I don't know. I'm channeling my inner Alan Freeman today. He was my broadcasting hero. I don't know why. It just came into mind. No particular reason why. None. How was your weekend?
I remember when I met Fluff Freeman. He was a lovely man.
Not off. Lovely man. Robert Van Buren says, hello, Russ and Neil. Hello, Robert Van Buren, horologist to the stars.
Speaking of comedy, I was trying out new material last night.
Uh-oh. And?
Yeah. 5 minutes new material. Right. No, it went, typical new material. But it went okay.
It went good. Was
Okay.
it as funny as the set? Was it as funny as the set that I saw? Hi, Julie voice. No, not as funny as that. Here's the thing, and this is about the mental health of a comedian, right? If you've got material that's gold, and you think, but I've got to try new stuff, otherwise I'm stagnating. It's very frightening.
I think it's
because you're abandoning something you know works, and you're trying something new.
But I mean, as you see, I've got a good 12 minutes, but I want to extend that to 20.
Yeah.
So if I can do that, 12 plus, so all I need really is another 8. And that's
right.
That's not particularly doable. That's not particularly undoable, is it?
You see, the thing is, Neil, you've seen people die on their arse doing a 5-minute set.
Me included.
I mean, 5 minutes feels... Did something for television. It was the worst professional experience of my entire life. And it took me 25, 30 years to get back behind a mic on stage after it was that bad.
Mm.
That 5 minutes feels like 5 hours. Absolutely ghastly. If... Graham, you got to do better. Come on. You got to do better than that. Come on, man.
Oh, come on, Graham, man.
Graham, for the love of God, man. Scott Lyons up in Wolverhampton. Men, happy Monday bout. Apologies for being missing in action last week. Got called in to cover shows. Normal service resumes. It's great. And Monday, isn't it? I had a call from my son who lives in Texas, and I said, hey, what's the weather like? Because it was piddling down here. Absolutely bloody awful. 102, Dad.
Wow.
Did you ever watch wrestling? Did you ever watch WWE wrestling?
Is that where they would wrap barbed wire around chairs and hit each other with them?
Yeah. Basically that, yeah. So my dad, then me, and then my kids, so 3 generations, all loved WWE, the Attitude Era. So my son, who lives in Texas, pulls into hey, Dad, what's it called? Parking lot. I said, it's a car park. It's a car park. You've only been there since January. Don't give me parking lot nonsense. So he pulls in, and there's a big black SUV with some photos.
At the mall.
Can't be him. And this will mean something to some of you, mean nothing to many of you. Mark Henry. Mark Henry, who was officially the strongest man in the world, then went into professional, Vince McMahon wrestling. Huge superstar, retired now. And so my son, being my son, don't know where he gets it from, went up to him and started chatting. They started talking for 15 minutes in the car park. And Mark Henry put my son's number straight on his phone. How sweet was that? He phoned me so excited. Means nothing unless cool. It's like if you like music, said, hey, I went to Brent Cross and ran into Frank Sinatra. Really? Yeah. I mean, if you like
that would be pretty impressive
right
nowadays.
Mm. It would be, "Are you there, Doris Stokes?" Yeah,
Well,
there we are. There we go. That's it. So we've got a packed week for you this week. I'm just waiting for our guest to arrive. Interesting guest, England cricketer. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Former England cricketer. Oh, yeah. Plus, the only guy who was an England cricketer and performed in mixed martial arts. What do you
cage
think about
fighting.
that? MMA. Joe Rogan, cage fighting. Ken was thinking of doing that, wasn't he? Going in, becoming a mixed martial arts artist?
No, I think that was cage making for cats.
Cage mate. Sorry, I misunderstood. I didn't
That's
hear
all
him
right.
properly because he yes. Paul Claridge, who always has a tale of 50 to tell. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm tuned in while cat sitting. Oh God. Well, they're cats. I got to be honest. I don't know. I wouldn't even know where to start. I wouldn't even know where to start. Monday is normally a good day, but today, as it's Christ, it's tax payment day. Blimey, O'Reilly.
I
Is
do have
it
a bit
now?
of a
Ooh.
I do have a bit of a cat porn a ban in this house because everyone seems to want to show me cat videos,
Oh, who
and I can
cares?
really do without them.
Yeah, I don't care. They're cats. They're cats.
Apart from one, there is one funny one. I don't know if you know the rave song Delirium. It's a 90s rave song. And it's a picture of a cat on windows like that, and it's trying to get in. And they go 1, 2, 3, and it's like a raving cat. And I have to say, it's very, very good. Did you know?
I like that. What? Go on. What?
Eating eggs can regulate a person's mood and make them less angry. A study
Oh
has
God,
found
I
this
need
morning.
about 5,000 eggs today. I don't know what's the matter. I don't know what's the matter.
60%. 60%. This is pretty big. Reduction in aggression in men that ate eggs. It's all to do with serotonin and, well, primarily tryptophan, which is a precursor to serotonin, the happy hormone, and it's found in
Hang
eggs.
on, tryptophan. I know serotonin. Longie, this is important. Serotonin rules my life, unfortunately. What?
I would hope it did.
Use it. What is tryptophan?
Tryptophan is, I'll put it on the screen, is a precursor to serotonin. In other words, tryptophan, I'll put it on.
Tryptophan. Okay. Is that when you're walking across the room, it's hot, you put the fan on, you don't see the wire? Tryptophan. Thank you. I'm
exactly
here all
that,
week.
right.
Drive the chicken. Don't forget to tip the waitress. Yeah. I woke up.
It could be pronounced tryptophan, but it's a precursor to serotonin.
What does it do?
It turns itself into serotonin. It's a precursor. Serotonin is made from it.
I need it a lot today. Don't know why. Really jagged. No idea why. I'm being honest. What's the point of having a mental health radio station if you can't be honest? I feel really, really jagged today, and I don't know why. No idea. Nothing particularly. It's odd, isn't it? I'm just being 100% just transparent here. There's nothing particularly triggering me, and I just feel like I want to punch a wall. And I don't know why. What the hell? Why? Why would I want to do that? Why? Nothing, nothing. Don't know why. Graham, what is the matter with you today? Is serotonin on Twitter? Shouldn't laugh, should I? Shouldn't laugh. It's weird. So eggs? No, because of eggs. Is it eggs? No, Fran, it wasn't that. Is it? I've got to eat some eggs. Anyway, I don't know where our guest is. Absolutely not a clue.
I'll share this as well. You know, when terms get bandied around an awful lot, and people, I think it's not always good when pop psychology terms get bandied around. And this meme really summed it up. Pop psychology is not psychology. Everyone you dislike is not a narcissist. Every unpleasant experience is not a trauma. Having needs does not make you codependent. Disagreement is not gaslighting.
Yeah, I know. You can disagree with someone.
Conflict is not abuse. Taking offense is awareness.
What was the last one?
Speaking like an HR memo is not self-awareness.
Oh, it's classic, isn't it?
Because I think that's important because it's good to understand what let's say, narcissism is. So if you're around it, you can work out how to get the hell out as quickly as possible. But when it's just banded around for the slightest thing, oh, he talked about himself a little bit, he must be a narcissist, you know. It's the question of getting it right, isn't it?
It's walking a delicate line between actually understanding what these terms mean and being a twerp and just throwing them around because you think, ooh, you know, I listened to one podcast ever in my life and now I'm a psychological expert. I could be a therapist. It's rubbish. And this is it. Weird. Judy Voice says, Russ, I feel the same today. Just want to punch something, not someone. No idea why. I don't think, I'm trying to get over the fact that it's the end of July. This has been a completely crap summer. It's raining. My two best pals, one's in Paris for a month, one's touring Italy with his band. I don't know. I'm just sick of the weather. I just feel I've got to get out, got to go somewhere. Really just got to go somewhere. Anyway, don't know. Just feel I have. What is this? What is this? And now we've got from Paul David Brazil. Hello, Paul David Brazil. Eggs is good for you, eggs is. Arthur English, Follyfoot. Paul, you've lost me.
Yeah,
you've lost
hashtag
me.
serotonin.
You got to help me here. Eggs is good for you, eggs is. Arthur English. Help me out here, Paul. Did you not play the guy in the brown dust coat in Are You Being Served? He was like the janitor.
That's right.
He was Arthur English in Are You Being Served?
Yes.
Interesting. Yeah, interesting. I used to love that show. I'll be absolutely honest with you. Absolutely love. Just made me laugh. Nothing wrong with that. Just made me laugh. I did 2 pantos with John Inman. What a charming, delightful, helpful, professional man. He was just...
Was he lovely?
Very nice man. Yeah, he's so professional. You know, these guys, they're just, every show's a belter. There's never a drop in energy, never a drop in performance. And helpful, you know, helpful, no egos. Really lovely. People like him or Russ Abbott. Doesn't matter who gets the laugh as long as the audience enjoys it. That's such an opening, empowering thing to say to somebody. Lee Durnford.
Sorry.
Lee Durnford, whose company built a little thing called the Channel
Some
Tunnel.
people are very generous, aren't they, when they perform? They realise it's not all about them and they take in the greater whole, don't they? And they're generous performers. And it's really lovely when you work with people like that. It just makes it all really worth it. So the Nextdoor app, which is basically, Nextdoor was supposed to be an app to bring the neighbourhood together and everyone knows what everyone's doing in a really good way. But it's turned into a place where it's basically filled with miserable Daily Mail readers that just be rude about each other. That inconsiderate woman, I can't... That monstrosity, it's an eyesore. So I thought, let's have a little fun. So in New Malden, we've got something called the Fountain Roundabout.
In where? In
New Malden,
sorry.
something called the Fountain Roundabout, and it's got a fountain on it, but they're having a revamp, and there's been £250,000 awarded, and that's caused a bit of a hoo-ha because 2 reasons. Number one, that some people don't think the money is going to the right people, so that's a hoo-ha on Nextdoor. And number two, the design is awful. It looks like a gallows, a cross between a gallows and a water pump, right? And it just looks hideous. So I thought I'd have a little fun and see how long I could get a post left on Nextdoor. So I created a character on Nextdoor called I Own a Glasscock, right? And I posted under this name. I Own a Glasscock, local artist, all right? And I posted a picture of this monstrosity, even worse than the actual one that's going up there. You've frozen, by the way. And I just thought I'd wait to see how long it would last. So, hello, I'm Iona. Iona Glasscock. I would like to introduce this piece, Artistic Genius, which I'm working on in collaboration with a very good friend of mine, renowned artist Cam L. Toe. And I just wanted to see how long it would stay on. And it lasted 40 minutes before someone took it off, which I was quite pleased about. I know it's
Pat
childish.
Scotty says it's childish,
You're
but it's
frozen
funny.
again. I hope you're
The
laughing.
Fountain Island in New Malden is the second cousin twice removed of the Hangar-Lane Tree. The Hangar-Lane Tree. If you can get past that,
Honestly,
you can get
Scotty,
past Hyde Park
this thing they're going to put on, it is a monstrosity. I don't know. I just maybe I just don't understand art, but it looks like a gallows. It really does.
Here's
Are we
the
bringing
big
back public
thing.
flogging? That might not be a bad thing, actually.
Oh, that could be a good thing. He played
Yeah,
Slugger. So Arthur English played Slugger Jones in Follyfoot, a show that I have never seen one episode of. I love that show, says Rosemary Jessup. Okay. And Paul, thank you for joining us, by the way. New viewer, new listener. Always nice to see people. I've
yes,
never
I've noticed
understood
a couple of new names
I've
actually come
never
up. So
understood.
hello, new listeners.
Claridge is back. Holy God, look at this. It says, come on, work for me. Crystal Palace Park is being revamped and regenerated. Okay. Total cost, Christ, £52 million. 17.5 million of that is to renovate the concrete dinosaurs. Been cheaper to breed one. Just get a large mini schnauzer, paint it green. 52 million quid. Wow.
It's unbelievable. And
It's
then there's the
funny how they
Dorking
find
Cock.
the money. Amazing how they find the money.
This is another monstrosity. This is on a roundabout in Dorking, and it's basically a giant cockerel made of metal. It's affectionately known as the Dorking Cock. Who commissions this stuff?
Mr. Colin Cock and his assistant Henrietta Hen.
Yeah.
And Christopher Chicks. I don't know. I don't know. Here's the great thing.
Is it me?
Art,
I just,
I've
had this
never
kind of
understood. Play
confusion
along,
about.
gang.
I've had this confusion about abstract art for years. How can a cow, which is cut in half and pickled and preserved in formaldehyde, and people go, that is so, I don't know, bourgeois or something. Oh, I must buy it for several million pounds.
Yeah,
I don't
Damien
get
Hirst,
it.
I've never got Damien Hirst. But you know what, Longie? It's okay to say, I don't get it. If you go to this, I've said this before, and I will say it again because it's a real bugbear with me. Because art is good for your mental health. It can inform and it can entertain, it can amuse, it can do all sorts of things, right? All forms of art. If you go to the cinema or you watch something on Netflix, say you watch something on Netflix, right? And you go, well, that was a crap film, it's rubbish. You don't need to have gone to film school to know how to make a film, to be allowed to say that was a rubbish film. You're allowed to say that, okay? You go to the theatre, you can say, didn't enjoy that play. You don't have to have been a playwright or Tom Stoppard or William Shakespeare.
No, it's rare. It's rare that I would call something rubbish.
But
there's an awful lot of music that I don't personally like, but I can see the incredible talent and work that goes into it. In many fields, in many genres, there's many things that aren't my cup of tea, but I can appreciate it. Okay. But there's some things that are just crap. And you should see this thing in New Malden. Honestly, it's like a big...
Well, I mean, we'll come on to some of these comments in a sec. But Spaghetti Junction, Opinion Meetings, is now considered art. God almighty. Have you ever driven around it? I swear to God, taking your life in your hands. So there's hope for New Malden yet. Here's the thing about art. So you can go to the cinema, not like a film. That's okay. Go to the theatre, not like a musical or a thing. It's okay. But if you go to an art gallery and say to somebody, I don't like that painting. What? You don't understand it? Well, no, I don't need to understand it. I'm looking at it. I don't like it. That's my opinion. It's okay. But you're meant to be like embarrassed and you're meant to feel stupid by art snobs who go, well, you don't understand. No, I do understand.
So they can basically,
I don't like it.
So they can basically gaslight you into thinking that you're the one in the wrong.
Yes.
And you're right.
Yes.
You've nailed it. That is art snobbery. It's art, and it's not going to appeal to all people all the time. There's some really famous musicians that I don't particularly like, but I really appreciate and respect them, if you know what I mean. There's nothing wrong with that.
Name one.
Well,
name one.
Well, I've changed my opinion on this,
Pink
but I
Floyd.
used to love Wham. And then when
Oh,
George
okay.
Michael did his solo stuff, I wasn't that keen on that at first.
Yeah.
Now, as I've matured, I really like it now. But at first, I didn't. But I could really appreciate the incredible talent of the man, which was massive.
I'm going to put a cat amongst the pigeons. Love
Oh, yeah.
Wham. Great 3.5 minutes of pop. Marvelous. And as talented as George Michael was, and he was hugely talented, I thought his solo stuff was immensely boring.
No, I didn't.
I
got to like
Listen
it.
Without Prejudice. I bought Listen Without Prejudice, and I tried, and I thought this is just a dirge, and you're just moaning. Oh my God! For the first time, finally, da 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 da. Susan Payton.
Congratulations on your
Susan!
book, Susan.
Susan Payton. Oh, unbelievable!
The power of
What a
stories.
success story she is.
Yes, absolutely, Susan.
gotta tell you,
Congratulations on
this
your book.
is-
Brilliant. Well done.
Oh yeah, we're so proud of you, Susan. I first met Susan Payton as Susan Smith. Wouldn't say boo to a goose. I think you'd agree. And she was PA to a certain Mr. Christopher Tarrant.
Ah, yes.
So we all got to know each other very, very well. We were all good pals. And then Susan just grew. It was just fantastic. Just grew and grew. And then she's now one of the most successful business authors on Amazon.
Yeah.
We first met her, honestly, was so shy. Now gives TED Talks, is in the top of the charts of the Amazon business.
She's got in
It's
the
most
Amazon chart.
amazing story.
She's got what I call the meatloaf factor. So there's always the song in the book. It literally just stays in the chart, and
Yes,
other things
I know,
come in,
absolutely.
but it never goes down the chart.
It's
Congratulations,
like outside of the moon.
Susan.
It's a wonderful thing, and do you know when nice things happen to lovely people, it's empowering for everybody. It's empowering for absolutely everybody. I remember we went to a big big party that down. Susan lives on a farm in the middle of freaking nowhere. You go down a track, and that's like a motorway compared to the rest of the road, right? And my kids were very little at the time, and I could see that they were. I could see. This is how you always underestimate the resiliency of kids, right? So it's all fields. It's a farm, of course, right? And I can see that lunch is like they're roasting a whole sheep in this farm for lunch, and in the farm, in the field, are sheep. So the twins are very, very little. I'm thinking, oh Christ, they're seeing the sheep, and then we're going to eat lamb. I better kind of prepare them. So I said, boys, you see the sheep. Well, sometimes the sheep grow up, and sometimes they became lunch, and we're going to be having some lamb for lunch or some sheep, expecting tears and a whole thing, and they just went, smells delicious. That was the end of their vegetarian.
Fantastic.
And I got myself into such a state. Susan, you deserve to have the show about you. You deserve it, because it takes a lot. It takes a lot to get that level of success. How many guests have we had on, Longie? That's you got drive, you got energy, you got a goal. You're not going to let anything stand in the way. It takes time, and it takes real perseverance. It takes and it's been fantastic to watch. I never understand jealousy. I don't understand jealousy. I don't get it. If something happens to your friends and it's good, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled for them. And other people, if you're so miserable about it, do it yourself. Get off your ass, go do it.
I've
Don't talk about it. Go do it.
slightly misquoted the book, so I'm going to put the proper title on there. There we go.
Oh, Blood, Sweat and Tears. Wasn't it just? I know. And Sen is saying, my company logo is a sheep. Oh, yes, of course. Gripping yarns. Gripping yarns. The business stories of... Sorry. So I've lost it. Put it up again, Longie. I can't see it. This is Susan Payton's books, The Business of Stories. Her clients love her. Her TED Talks. And believe me, if you'd have said to me when she was Susan Smith, this was going to happen, I go, well, it would be lovely if it did. And it's fantastic. What a success story. Bravo.
I know what you mean. I like seeing people succeed, and I love seeing when people grow and become more of who they are and what they're capable of. Because, like you say, it's inspiring to everyone, and that is a mental health thing. One of the premises of NLP is what one can do, all can do, to some degree. Yes, indeed. Absolutely.
I think we have to temper that, Neil. We have to temper that. It's no good me looking at Usain Bolt and I can go, well, boom, I could be Usain Bolt. Of course I can't. I can't run like that. Can't do it. Liz Saul, who I think you know, Neil, vaguely, says the following. Would you care to read it out?
I don't get jealousy either. What's the point?
Clearly, I don't get jealousy either.
What everyone else is doing or not doing, which gives you FOMO.
Yeah,
we should bring Susan on. Actually, if our guest isn't here, we should do an impromptu one with Susan.
Gives you what? Gives you what? What's FOMO?
FOMO.
What is
fear
FOMO?
of missing out?
What? I don't know what it is.
Fear of missing out.
Oh, fear of missing out. Yeah, no, I get it. I've never understood that either. I don't fear of missing out. I've never had that. I don't understand it. What are you missing out from?
What everyone else is doing. Because everyone else is having a great time apart from you, or Facebook would have you believe.
Well, that's not true. They're not. They're having the same shitty time at various degrees. Susan's gone through, I'm not going to go into details. See, Susan, with one of her children, has gone through hell, through ill health. Wouldn't wish that on anybody. On anybody. What a brave girl, too.
Shall we?
Very brave.
If you're up for it, Susan, shall we bring her on, do a quick impromptu interview about the book?
I'd love to bring her. Would you like that, got an
Susan?
Email? Susan, if you want.
I'll tell you what, Susan, I'm gonna
once, Doris Stokes.
Susan, I'm gonna instant message you on Facebook, and if you like, I'll send you a link and you can join us. That'd be lovely. I'd love to catch up with you actually on live radio. Why not? Put the link.
This is good. This is good. Why not? We love to be reconnected. Lee Durford. Jealousy comes in many forms, not just what people have, but also the behaviors of other people with your loved ones. Oh, hang on. Jealous? I got to unpack this, Lee. Lee Durford, who works for this huge engineering firm that built, seriously, along one of the things they did was the Channel Tunnel. He said, we met briefly. Give me some cigars. It's like a drugs deal. And so it was. It comes in many forms, not just what people have, but also the behaviors of other people with your loved ones. Ooh, yeah. The latter is much harder to deal with. Yeah, not sure I'm camera ready. Don't be daft. And Sam Monroe.
I'll send you the link. She's going to come on. That's fantastic.
I'll tell you a story one day about you. Is she going to come? Yeah, she come on. Is it bad? Stop it. What have we got here? On a similar thing, people who gossip about me, that's you, Neil. You never stop talking about it. My lifestyle. Wow, your life must be really boring and empty that you have to nose at every nuance of mine.
I know. Yeah. I do find some people, because I'm on the radio, are absolutely obsessed with literally everything that I do. And I can get quite sarcastic about it. I said, your heart's beating. That's amazing. You have a heart and it beats. That is a revelation. Wow. Can I put that on Facebook? Because to me, it's just all petty. Hello. How are you?
She is. Oh, this is the greatest thing. Hang on. No. I'm changing it. There we go.
That's it. I had to.
There she is.
Come out of LinkedIn.
Susan Payton, welcome to MRS. Hello.
Wow. What an impromptu interview.
You weren't expecting this morning, were you?
No.
First of all,
England cricket.
First of all,
Can
I
I
haven't
just
seen
confirm?
you
Can I?
for 2.5
I've just got to
decades. How are
confirm this, Susan.
you?
You're not a former England cricketer, are you?
Are you both talking at once, or have I got something coming out of my microphone?
How are you, Susan? Over. Are you there?
So well, 91, I joined Capital Radio.
Wow.
So what is that?
2001.
A long time ago.
2021, 22 years. Is that right? No.
32.
2001 to 32. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
You look
91.
great. You look great. You look really well. Hello.
Oh, thank you. I wasn't expecting to be on camera today.
Just to let you know, by the way, there is ever such a slight delay because of the software that we're using. So it can sometimes seem as if we're talking over each other, but we're not doing it on purpose or to be rude.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Tell us all about your book.
Your books.
I remember going
Tell
through
us
a
about your
phase
book.
of
Come on.
reading loads about marketing, studying people like Joe Vitale, who you've probably almost definitely heard of. And he's very big on storytelling, and he says that people just engage so much more with stories. And he's right. Look at the TV, look at our pop TV shows, X Factor. This was my life, that was my backstory, and now here's my chance. So, what is it about stories that people love so much, and what made you write a book on it, Susan?
So we love stories because we engage with them. They make us feel something, right? We go on a journey with people. We remember stories. They stay with us. They have an impact on us. Who wouldn't want their marketing to do that, right? We want our marketing to engage people and to take them on a journey and to leave them feeling something about us and what we do, and we want people to remember us. And I was speaking at an event in Brighton a few weeks ago, and I saw such a good example of this. Is that somebody got up on stage and she was talking about having grit in business. There's that fabulous book by Angela Duckworth about grit. So she was kind of going through some slides talking about grit and what it is and why you need it. And everybody was, enjoying the talk. And then she told a story, a very, very personal story about her mum passing away. And the energy in the room, everything, I've got a fly. Everything in the room changed. Like you could hear a pin drop. Everybody was leaning into that story. And when she came off stage, people came over and they were talking to her.
And that wouldn't have happened if she'd just done the story about grit, would it? No way.
No way. It's everybody connected with the story. Oh, here is my book. There you go.
Well, I did notice it in the background, yes.
Always have it strategically placed.
Just in case you get an impromptu on-air interview.
Always
have a copy of your book handy.
Radio ringing.
There it is.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. And I did have some awesome news, actually, because it came out in March last year. And by the end of 2022, I had sold 10,000 copies. But when I got my royalty statement through at just a few days ago for the next 6 months, was actually another 10,000. So I'm at 20,000.
Fantastic.
Copies of the book, which is...
But you literally, in the Amazon charts, you're literally like Bat Out of Hell by Meatloaf. You just never drop out the charts. It's just always there. You are the Meatloaf of Amazon, if that's a backhanded compliment.
Yes. No, it does dip in and out all the time.
Do you know what the average...
Sorry,
Do
Russ.
you know what the average sales of a book are? You know what the average sales of a book are?
It's quite low, isn't it?
The average sales of a book, if you do well, is 4,000. 4,000. For Susan to have sold 20,000 is a sensation. Trust me. Because not everybody's
and you've done a TED talk on this.
Rowling or Janice Hallett or, Sophie Hannah. It's fantastic. Yeah.
And you've told your story in a TED talk as well, yes?
I haven't done a TED talk, actually.
Oh, Russ said you've done a TED talk.
I do lots of talks. I do lots of speaking.
Oh, you once talked to somebody whose name was
Exactly. I did write a TED talk a few years ago, but I never actually delivered it. So that is on my bucket list. I do need to go and deliver that talk.
You absolutely do. So tell us one of your favourite bits from the book, or one of the stories, and where did you source them from? Is it all based loosely or very much so on your life experience or others' life experience?
It's
from the book,
sprinkled with my stories throughout the book, various little, bite-sized chunks of my story. But at the beginning of every single chapter, I tell a story, and they're all my clients. Pretty much most of them are my clients. So it's having worked with business owners for the last, 8 years now. I had a ton of stories that I could share that helped to bring whatever that chapter was about, helped to bring it to life. And so many people have said to me, like, that they loved the stories, but they also loved seeing a real life example of exactly what I was telling them how to do. I actually picked up a book about storytelling a few years ago before I'd written mine, and there wasn't a single story in it. And I thought, how can you write a book about storytelling and not put any stories in it?
That's like writing a book on marketing and not knowing how to market it.
Yes.
It's very odd.
Exactly.
They're very dry. Very dry.
Yeah.
And
so I definitely wanted to, I like
if you bore
teaching
people,
by example.
You've lost them. Got to entertain them.
Business, you cut out a bit there, Russ. If you're saying what I think you were, business, this is what I think anyway. Business can be very, very dry, and business people can be sometimes a little, not the biggest bunch of laughs, shall we say? But so it needs an infusion. It does need bringing to life. It certainly needs bringing to life.
Yeah, and also a lot of people when they're talking about their area of expertise, they've become the expert, right? And they've got that curse of knowledge. They know so much about their topic that they don't realize that actually what they're saying is a bit confusing, or it's a bit complicated.
I'm going to reboot.
He's going to reboot. Just you and me for a moment, Susan.
Okay, cool.
You were saying.
Yeah, so a lot of business owners and coaches and consultants and, whatever their business is, they've become such an expert in that topic, and they've got a language that they use that they think everybody understands, but actually it's a bit confusing, and people end up saying, but what do you do, and what is that, and what does it mean? So storytelling is such a good way of communicating in a way that everybody gets, right? Storytelling is a universal
and that's what a
language.
good storyteller can do. It's almost like the word translation springs into mind. And I love that phrase you use, the curse of knowledge. But being that bridge, translating, and the art of a good storyteller or a good teacher in any way, which storytellers are in a sense, it's putting it in a way that the masses can understand, possibly difficult concepts.
Yeah, absolutely.
The majority of people can understand, and what a great way to do it in the art of storytelling. Because you're right, I get drawn in. I've read those long form sales letters. They're trying to sell you anything, but you read the story, and by the end of it, I'm kind of interested in buying the product, even if it's not something that I want.
yeah, exactly. And even an analogy can just make something so simple to understand. I was watching a couple of nights ago, me and my 13-year-old watched the Full Monty. And do you remember the scene in the Full Monty when they're learning the dance and they're all like all over the place? And then the guy says, "Oh, you mean like the whatever rule it is in football?" And they all went, "Oh, that," and then they all stepped forward and did it in time. And they were like, "Why didn't you just say that?" Yeah. But it brings it to life beautifully, like you say. Do you want to give us a little excerpt from the book? Do you
communication.
Want to share a bit?
It's about communication.
100%. But it's communicating in a way that the person you're communicating to can easily get it. And so many people confuse and,
Well, I think some people also like to like people to know that they're the expert, and then the curse of knowledge really kicks in, because then you're using really, really, really complicated language. A good example of this is the two people that co-created NLP, Richard Bandler and John Grinder. Now, Bandler was a bad boy genius, but he had that way of putting it in in such blunt language that anyone could understand it. He said, when you put rats in a maze and something doesn't work, they try a different way. Humans don't. That means rats are cleverer than humans. He's pretty blunt. But Grinder was a linguist, and you read his books, and within about the first 2 lines, he's using words like epistemology. And I'm like, you know,
Exactly.
Would you like to reach behind you and grab your book and give us a little excerpt? We come on.
A little excerpt.
Come on, we got you
Who
live.
is supposed to be on your show today? I'm intrigued. Who I've
do that.
replaced.
Go on.
You
Go
were.
on.
The universe decided it was going to be you today.
That's
This
what
is all
pals are
for a
for.
reason.
You've actually. I tell you who you've replaced. I tell you who you've replaced. You've replaced someone whose PR company sent me about 3,000 emails. I've replied to all the emails. We arranged everything. He's a former England cricketer. I presume he's still in the pavilion. I've no idea where he is. But I'm thrilled that you're here. So they're
Me too.
even better.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome live on MRS with an excerpt from her book, The Business of Stories, the inimitable Susan Payton.
Okay, I'm going to tell you a little story. It's called The Elephant. It's the first story on chapter 2, which is about telling your personal story.
Okay.
And here's the story. The elephant caught her eye.
Okay.
It looked so majestic. It was a stunning piece of art. She walked over to take a better look. It was even more beguiling up close. She loved it. Sky Holland saw the woman looking at her painting intently and wandered over to her. They started chatting. The woman was clearly taken by the exquisite work of art, and Sky enjoyed telling her about it. The woman took one last look at the elephant and then politely thanked Sky, telling her she would think about it. The day came to a close and the woman hadn't returned. The next morning, Sky was back at the Affordable Art Fair in Battersea, South London. It was a 3-day event and this was day 2. The doors had barely opened when the woman appeared in front of the painting again. This time she was beaming. Sky walked over to her, and the woman immediately told her she'd looked on her website after returning home last night. She'd admired some of her other work before clicking on her About page. And reading her story, she totally resonated with it. Like Sky, she had spent time living in South Africa and felt a deep connection to the wild animals in their natural habitats. I want the elephant, she announced, clearly excited to be taking the artwork home, much to Sky's delight. As she took the painting down, Sky knew it would be loved and appreciated for years to come.
Brilliant.
That would be Sky Holland.
That is Sky Holland. Oh, yes, Russ, you know Sky Holland. Yes, how funny.
I mean, you had me at
Very talented artist.
because I didn't know it was a picture. There was a bit of a delayed reveal
Yeah.
there, which was clever.
Yeah.
Because I thought she was on safari and she made eye contact with an elephant, and that intrigued me. And then it's a picture. Very good. And I love the way you said she'd spent time in South Africa, and then there's that connection.
That's that connection.
It was caught the eye and connection. They're the two things that jumped out of that for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I like using examples like that because often
You've
people
frozen
think,
there for a moment, sorry.
Oh, I've frozen, have I?
I seem to be the only one who's not frozen.
The
Everything's frozen.
internet's bad
Let it
today. I think
go.
I'm going to
Let
blame
it
the
go.
weather.
Oh, well,
Susan.
just me.
I know my internet.
we're
seems
having
to
a
be
quick
absolutely
reboot.
Shocking today.
And I'm plugged in. I'm cabled up today. I don't know what's going on with the
The
internet.
I can hear
internet's
you both
terrible
fine.
today. Don't know why. It's really poor.
Can you guys
So
hear
we've got
me?
I don't get
lots of clients at the moment. Where
I'm
can
going to be cabled up next time.
let's
I
put
can't
your
handle it.
website on the screen, Susan. Where
Oh, you can hear us.
people find
Okay. So all right. Forgetting the pictures for a minute. Yeah, we can hear you.
Right,
Yeah,
sorry.
where's
You're
the,
both speaking at the same time.
What's your website? Then people can look you up.
thebusinessofstories.com.
I'll put that on the screen. I'll let Russ chat with you for a bit.
Because the internet's shocking.
But yeah, no, all I was saying, if I'm back, is that a lot of people think, storytelling
Right,
is
Susan. Yeah.
Sorry. Bad connection, isn't it?
Yeah.
don't know.
I'll wait,
We'll never
I'll
know
wait
what
for
it
you,
is.
Russ.
She's in the
Otherwise, we're all
country.
going to
She's got an
speak at the same
excuse.
time because we've got
I'm
a
not.
delay as well.
Got no excuse. 'cause
Over
it's
to you,
terrible
Russ.
Wi-Fi.
Can you
Right.
guys
So,
hear me?
Susan, if you can hear me, when you look back at Susan Smith, who I first met, and you see where we are now, where you are now, do you recognize that person? And secondly, as when you were Susan Smith, did you ever think you could be capable of doing and achieving what you have now in recent years? Because I think that's the real crux of the story for us on The Daily Show.
Well, first of all, Russ, I think you're the only person in the world that ever remembers that I was once Susan Smith, because most people know
Susan
me
Willer.
as my maiden name as Willer, Susan Willer.
Thought so.
Susan
Oh,
Willer. I
wonderful.
was Susan Smith for a very short time, and that's a story that
Susan
I don't
Willer.
tell in my in my youth. Anyway, but no, for
No,
years
I
and
get
years
that.
and
I
years,
get that. But what I'm talking about is the arc. Is your arc?
Yes. No, I get that.
The growth, the development. Yeah.
For many years, I was definitely the girl behind the scenes, right? I looked after Chris Tarrant. I looked after Gabby Logan. I worked with Kenny Logan. I worked with loads of celebrities. And I was very much the person behind the screen. I never intended being up on stage or in front of a camera myself. And then stories unfold, you go on a journey, things happen. I decided that I wanted to do something different. I created a group for women in business. I started to look at where the challenges were, what were they struggling with, what might I be able to help them with. And then I realized that one of the biggest struggles they all had in common was they didn't know how to get across who they are. They didn't know how to share their story. They didn't know how to talk about what they do in a way that really engaged people and made them want to work with them. So I went into the group one day and I told my story. Very ordinary story. I didn't have some humdinger of a Hollywood blockbuster, but I just shared the ups and downs. I'd been a single mum for a few years. I'd had some health issues myself. I had ME. And I just talked about it. I was very honest and very open. And people really resonated with my story and really related to it. And everybody's story is different. But what was so powerful is that people can connect with how you were feeling, the times that you struggle, the times that you feel like everybody else has got it sussed and you haven't, the times when you don't feel like you know.
You're so right to say that, because any kind of, I've said this for many months on this show, any kind of, I'll just use the blanket term, mental health issue, or if you're feeling down or struggling or something like that, one of its symptoms is always a feeling of isolation. You think you're the only one ever in the history of the universe that's having any kind of difficulty. And this is where storytelling links into mental health for me massively, or twofold. First, on the one hand, people
only happened to you.
People can relate and go, thank God I'm not the only one. I'm not going crazy. I thought I was going crazy, but I'm not going crazy. There's other people. I'm not the only one. And then when people watch your growth and your recovery, if that's the right word, and or becoming, to use a more elegant word, that opens the possibility for them, because I love the phrase ordinary people doing extraordinary things. It's like, if Susan can do it, I can do it too. It's, the universe doesn't.
And not in a rude way. That's not in a disparaging or condescending way. It's encouragement. I think if you're small-minded, small-minded,
Sorry, Russ. You only need to see one person ahead of you that's getting to that place that you want to go to, achieving what you want to achieve, doing what you want to do, to inspire you, show you it's possible, and leave a path for you to follow.
Yeah, they say success leaves clues, and that you've also described what I think, in my opinion, is the best sort the best sort of mentor, not one that's kind of on a pedestal, godlike, unreachable, but the one that's just one step ahead and saying, "Hey, come this way, one step at a time, come this way." It's that they're the best of the lot, aren't they?
Yeah. And not pretending that your life is perfect, no matter what's going on for you. We've all got challenges, personal, business, in our head. We've all got challenges all the time. So the challenges might change. The journey might look different. You might be in a different place than you were 5 years ago, but you're still going through stuff that's relatable. You're still going through stuff that people can resonate with. You're still having feelings that other people are feeling, and creating that space where people can share their story too, and realize that they're not on their own, like you said, that there are other people out there who feel the same or are going through the same. Makes you feel connected in a way that no other marketing can, right? No long form sales page is ever going to make you feel the same as somebody's real, honest story.
Yeah, and there's a couple of lovely comments coming. Lee Durnford, you just said something that encourages me to tell my story.
Out.
There you go. You've inspired someone already this morning,
Lee.
Susan. Russ knows I want to help others gain the strength they need to change things for the better, although it's still tough now.
Is a very interesting man. Yep.
Lovely one here from Fat Scotty as well. For me, the best stories are the real stories of human emotion experiences and just honest daily struggles that we can all relate to. I love your story, Susan, and long may you tell it, says Fat Scotty. Yeah, nice one.
Thank you. And that's the thing, right? You don't have to have some amazing Hollywood blockbuster film, right? Because most people can't relate to that anyway. You don't have to have a rags to riches. You don't have to have died for 20 minutes. You don't have to have been homeless, you know?
Because they're nonsense.
Some people might have that story, but they're not so relatable, right? The stories we can relate with is the one where I was.
You've seen Neil's stage act then.
Go on, you jumped in right there. Sorry, what were you saying, Susan?
I was saying, I tell stories like the night I was sat at my kitchen table drinking a very large glass of wine, being very emotional, saying to my husband, my business isn't working. This isn't a business. This isn't, I'm busy, people are engaging, I'm working full time, but it's not a business. That was before I became the business of stories. That's relatable. Who hasn't sat there when they're trying to build a business and thought, what am I doing wrong? Why does everybody else got it sussed? How comes everybody else seems to know what to do and I don't? How comes social media is working for other people? How comes, other people are filling up their programs and I'm not? We've all sat there and been there.
Yeah. And the solution that most people try and put in place is exactly the wrong one of let's do more.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean, but doing more of what's not working still isn't going to work. But that's a very common mistake. I've certainly fallen for that one.
You've got to be determined. I don't know if you can hear me. I don't know if you can hear me. The connection is absolutely wrong.
We can hear you. I can hear you.
I don't know if you can hear me. The connection is just appalling today. So, but you've got to be determined. You've got to be determined because we all go through that. And I go through this really often with a lot of the projects going, why is this not going as fast as I want? Why are we not growing this as fast as we need to, etc., etc. But every day, if you're making even tiny progress, you're heading towards your goal. It may not come in leaps and bounds. You may get a lucky bounce in your favor. They may not. But the people that succeed are the people who keep going.
It's consistency.
That's so important. It's no good quitting because you don't know when the thing's going to work out for you. It's no good quitting. You gotta keep on going. And in my last podcast with Mark Colling on the Walk the Talk series, which is outside of this, the podcast was called 95% of success is just turning up. That's what we called it. 95% of success is just turning up.
It is consistency without a doubt. I don't feel like I'm, I didn't have any qualifications when I left school. Well, I did. I had some O levels, but I mean, I didn't train in anything in particular. So, and consistency for me has definitely been just keep plodding away, finding what is it that I can do, where can I give value, what do I find easy that other people struggle with, how can I turn that into a business, what could that look like? Consistency is key, but it is also making sure you're doing the right things. And Neil touched on this, is you don't want to just keep doing something when clearly it's not working. So you do need to also spot those times in your journey, in your story where maybe I need to do something differently. And that's what happened to me, right? my business wasn't a business. I was building a group. I was actually called the Business of Mums before I was the Business of Stories, and I was offering coaching to women who wanted to start their own business.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, the Business of Mums. And I kept kind of doing the same things. I even employed a marketing agency for a while to help me because I didn't know what I was doing wrong. They didn't do very much either. And then I realized that night, sitting at the kitchen table, excuse me, with my husband, I realized I had to do something different. I couldn't just keep doing the same thing. I had to do something different.
Yeah.
So I did. I went to bed that night. I woke up the next day and I thought, what can I do different? And I went into the group and I told my story. And that's what I did differently. Instead of talking about my coaching and what it is and how you get it and how much it is.
And you spoke from the heart. You spoke from
I just shared my story.
Authentic.
Oh dear, I'm so sorry.
Are you all right there? Authenticity pays dividends, doesn't it? Because I think people are so fed up with all the hype. I think Fat Scotty touched on
Susan,
this.
it's been a pleasure.
And all the BS. Just to hear someone's genuine testimony, people can really resonate. And I would say that's in large part why you sold that incredible 20,000 copies when the industry average is 4,000, not 4. And it's congratulations. And I hope you sell more after today. The business.
Thank you so much. Wow, what a lovely surprise.
Well, it was a gorgeous surprise. I haven't seen you for 32 years as well. So lovely to see you again. And you haven't changed really.
Thank you.
Susan, we will see you again soon.
Yes.
I hope so. We will see. We'd love to see you.
Take care, guys.
Okie dokie.
Thanks
bye
for having me on.
Thank you, Susan.
Love. Oh, we love her. She's great. What a great person. I'm sorry about the connection today. Absolutely nothing I can do. It's just hoodoo and voodoo.
Do we have
that's very good. Graham Pack. I like it.
Do we have a guest booked in
on Wednesday? I don't know. I switch my phone off when we're broadcasting. Maybe yes, maybe no. Don't know.
Let me know.
Go and get one.
I will. Let me know. I've got a good one.
I've had a lot of fun today. That was an absolute unexpected treat. Graham Pack. Susan has bowled us over and hit the cricketer for 6. Yes, there will be words spoken. And Fat Scotty says, outstanding on the fly, live radio today, guys. Neil Longie, fantastic job. One day he's going to meet me and just punch me straight in the face. That's it. Oh, how lovely to see her. And she's just delightful.
Oh, on the next episode, by the way, I can't remember exactly now, but I'm editing someone's podcast at the moment. That's partly what I do. I help people get their podcasts online. Plug. And they come up with a beautiful definition, the most beautiful, elegant one I've heard of authenticity. Because we hear that word bandied around a lot. And this lovely, in fact, you know her, Lula Benz. Do you remember her from Capital Radio?
No.
Lula Benz from Events?
No.
You know?
I don't know what I had for breakfast.
And it all forms part of the work she does now, which is now a trauma therapist. And she's written this. It's one line, and it's just the most beautiful definition of the word of authenticity that I've ever heard. So I'm going to share that on Wednesday as well.
Graham Pack, just one quick thing. Graham says, can Longie fix your internet connection? Can I tell you this is fiber optic? This is fiber optic. Can you believe it? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. a surprising show. Wasn't where I thought we were going to go, but it was great fun. Neil, I'll see you Wednesday at 12 o'clock. Thanks for joining us, everyone. And as I always say again, stay safe. Bye-bye.